finding a student job, meaning it's in like the student, um, for us it was called Handshake. I don't know why, if that just makes it sound like a job, but it was like the it was like Indeed.com for students at the school. There were places that you could they needed just a student assistant. There are some that are student assistants that are like really busy. They're assisting for professors, they're doing even project planning for like different departments. But I purposefully tried to find one where it was just, we need someone to answer the phones and transfer people. Like, I had to find those. I interviewed a few different places, and I also asked like, what's a typical day or work shift. And as they would tell me, I didn't purposely say, I hope I can do homework while I sit here. Well, they would tell me what a normal day is like. It would help me decide, and I would be looking for positions. They're usually, minimum wage, but where I could not be super busy and do my homework while I'm sitting there. There were other options for note taking with disability services. There's some students that might need help getting all the notes down, and I already am like a voracious note taker. So I was like, I might as well get paid to sit in class and take my own notes. And usually there's like a carbon copy you can rip off in the back to give to the other student, or whichever, or copy it or something like that. And another note, there are other things I kind of covered over as I was trying to get to the meat of what I explained. But for example, I became a writing fellow, which basically just is writing tutor. Not sure why they called us that, but I didn't get paid for that, but you got a class for free. So that was an extra perk. And because that was while I was at my community college, I already had classes paid for from that choir scholarship. So they gave me a gift card to the bookstore. So I basically had tuition paid for, and then I'd have my bookstore credit. There are other ways to, and even with that, I want to reiterate to anyone listening, I had heard about writing fellows, but you had to be recommended by a professor, and no professor had recommended me, which doesn't necessarily mean I was terrible. Had just been my first semester, so I hadn't really had a lot of some professors. So I literally went to a professor and asked him to recommend me, and he's like, sure. So there are times where we can just ask for things and see if it'll work. Other instances, like some of those websites I had mentioned, like Chegg.com, also on Amazon.com, you can rent textbooks. My calculus textbook was $300. I rented it for a semester for $50. Like, I had one book that I was allowed to get a previous edition. You can't always do that, but some, they don't care if you get a previous edition. The textbook cost $2. And with shipping and handling, it was $9. Like, the shipping was more expensive. Basically, I think for anyone listening, the hack would just be, if my school is telling me to do something this way, there's probably an alternative way that costs less or gets me money in the meantime. And then also a simple hack that isn't even school related, like the college told me to do, is I often packed my own lunch. And I know a lot of people just don't like that. But I was like, I don't want to pay for it. But then I did have fun. I usually had some fun money, and I'd like buy something from a vending machine here and there. And like, I'm a saver, but like, if I have it in my budget to spend some, I think that's important too. It's nice to have fun and buy some food, but I would bring most all my own food. I think over my college journey, that saved me hundreds of dollars. Like, food is expensive, especially on campus. And with that hundreds of dollars, I probably bought all my books. So that's another hack to um, bring your own food. I think, is that what you meant for different hacks and such?
You're definitely right. You got me like wishing that, if I could have went back in time and just hear some of these advice that you're giving to my listeners and viewers, because these are definitely great hacks. Just by bringing food to school, you save $10 a meal prep, and that's an easy way to start meal prep. You don't have to wait to get a six-figure job or something to start meal prep. And just going back to, I feel like you keep circling around this like compound interest. Like as you do these different things, it benefits you long term. Like, whether it's able to save $10,000, whether it's able to get books for a cheaper thing, like it's all compounding, your wage becoming financially free. And I realize sometimes people think that becoming financially free is like you do one thing and boom, God answer your prayer, you're financially, but it's steps, different actions that you have to be intentional about in order to become financially free.
What's up, family? If you enjoyed this clip, click the link down below to check out the full episode of this interview and remain blessed.